Good evening. I know some of y'all watch this at night. I hope y'all are having a great day or had a great day, whichever time you're in. So we're going to be reading from our little book. I've just prayed about it. I've opened it up and it has landed on the title Respite under the group, under the heading that I was so cross to the children. And so let's just see what the Lord has for us today. Oh Lord, thank you for this little space between crisis in our family. Thank you for this probably brief span of peace. Right now, nobody is ill. Thank you. Right now, nobody is in trouble. Thank you. Right now, I'm coasting, resting. Right now, I am coasting, resting. It is as if I'm walking across a pleasant meadow with only a happy chiming of birds in my ears and the sunlight as of some wondrous love upon my face. The familiar cries of sorrow, distress, imploring pleas, and arguments are still. Thank you. The familiar burdens seem to be lifted, the problems for the moment all resolved. I rejoice in this sense of lightness and release. It is common sense that tells me that this lovely respite cannot last, and not really my lack of faith. For now, let me simply be thankful for this respite. Let me be revitalized by it. Let me draw from its physical strength and spiritual resources for the inevitable crisis and conflict to come. Thank you, God, for this precious span of peace. Well, I think as mothers or grandmothers or aunts or just anyone who has dealt with children, teachers, definitely enjoy the moments of peace and respite. Although when my kids were small and growing up, I got kind of worried when things got a little quiet because you're like, what is this? The quiet can be so deafening sometimes. And you're like, what are they up to? But I totally get what she's saying. And you can also equate this to life. You know, when you find yourself that at this particular moment, there's no crisis. You know, everything seems fine. Everything's in order. Everything is as it should. You know, you've got the bills are paid. You've got money in the bank account. You've got groceries in your cabinets in the refrigerator. You know, your kids are happy and healthy. Nobody's, you know, in distress. The husband's doing good, you know. The job's going good. You know, everything seems to be fine. And I do believe the Lord allows us those times of respite so we can reflect and be thankful and also draw strength to get rested up. Like she said, you know, I am coasting and resting. So we're coasting along, we're resting, and we need those times. But it's not our lack of faith that lets us know it's not going to stay this way. It's just the way it is, right? It's like she said, it is common sense that tells me that this lovely respite cannot last, and not really my lack of faith. But for now, let me simply be thankful. And I think that's very important that, you know, when we are in these moments of just everything's going fine, there's no crisis, there's no big anything that we have to focus on, that we can just kind of, number one, rest. But we can also use that time to be thankful, to reflect. And it will also be a time where we can, as we're reflecting, is also growing our faith. You know, it's letting us see, okay, what I thought was such a crisis, now I'm here. I can look back and see God's hand in it, how he took care of me. So, yeah, I just thank God for the for the crisis, but I also thank God for the respite, for the peace. And you're probably thinking, you thank God for the crisis. Well, yeah, I think in everything we should give thanks for the crisis, because if there were no crisis, we would not understand the respite. If there was no problems, then we would not understand how God takes care of us. And if there was no crisis, no problems, no issues, how would our faith grow? How would he build our trust in him? How would he build our faith? All of that is so necessary for our spiritual growth. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. But I mean, I remember growing up having growing pains in my legs and my arms, and they weren't pleasant and they weren't fun, but they were necessary for me to grow. And it's just part of it. I don't like it. And as old as I am now, I don't think it's something that I'll ever really get used to, but I understand its value. So that's why I can sit back and say, Lord, I thank you for the crisis, because I understand the value of the crisis. I understand that he has used that to draw me to him, to help me trust him, to grow my faith, to make me a better person. So without all of that, would I be where I am right now? Probably not. You know, it's taken all of that to get me here, to get me to appreciate the respite, to get me to appreciate the calm and the coasting and the relaxing. And I just thank God for this precious span of peace when we're in it. And we can thank God as we're going through things as well, because I've spoke on, some things that I had prayed about. The Lord just didn't handle it the way I thought, and I was kind of taken aback by it. But I know he has his reasons, and for the way that he handles things, I know that I may or may not understand it. I may or may not particularly like it. But I do believe that we will get through and not feel the effects in a negative. It will only be positive effects. I hope that makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm getting it across, but I hope I make sense. Anyway, this has really given me something again to think about. All of these give me something to think about, and I think we can all take things away from each one of these little things and kind of see how it coincides with our life. And like I said, you may not have children, but I still think you could use this, because you don't necessarily have to have children. It can just be about life, replace the children part with your life, or replace the children with your children, with like nephews and nieces, or a classroom, or whatever it would be. So that is it for today. Definitely something to reflect on. Thank y'all so much for being here. I love reading all y'all's comments. Y'all have such wonderful insight. I love hearing your take on things, because we all hear things differently, and I love that. I love being able to hear your take on it and being like, I didn't ever think about it that way, but that makes sense. I like that. And, it really blesses me. And I'm sure if anybody's reading the comments, they're also getting blessed as well. So thank y'all so much. I love y'all. I pray that you're blessed today. I pray that all of your needs are met. And I pray you have a wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.